Okay, I'm continuing on with that exercise for mapping GIS data, and now I'm on step number 4, and that step says to create a map of the county showing the density of farms. Label the name of the counties in the farms data frame. So I'm going to minimize the volcanic hazard data frame. I'm going to right click on the farms, and I'm going to activate that one. So now you can see that it's bold. And I'm going to scoot over here where I can see it, scroll over a little bit. And once again, I'm going to add my counties layer. And at the moment, that's all I need to add. I'm going to look at the data again. So I'm going to open the attribute tables, right mouse click on it, open attribute table. And I want farm density. So that's the number of farms by square mile, square kilometer, some unit of area. So if I go toward the end, I see here's the number of farms, but it's not normalized. But here is a field that says square mile. So I could get the number of farms divided by the square miles, and that's going to give me a density. So this is my value, and I'm going to normalize that value by square miles. So I'm going to go into the counties properties. Again, we're going to do graduated colors. The value is going to be the number of farms, and the value is going to be normalized by square miles. And again, we don't need 6 decimal places, so I'm going to right click on the label tab and change the number of decimal places down to 1. And we might change the color if we like. Maybe we'll get a nice tan color for farms. And we're also asked in that step to label the county name. So I should have done that while I was in the properties. So I'm going to go back into the properties of the counties, and I'm going to go to the symbology tab, the labels tab. And if I scoot this window over, I can't go back into there, but I'm going to turn on the labels, and we're going to leave the name set, and we pick OK. And so now we should see the label of the counties turned on. Okay, so that's step number 4. I'm going to move on down to step number 5. It says create a map showing the transportation routes. Symbolize the type by road type, rail, and air. So I'm asked to add some transportation. So I'm going to look in the transportation feature data set. I'm going to drop in some airports, highways, railroads. So put all the transportation. I could have done that by just clicking and bringing transportation over. But I'm going to make the airports look like airplanes. So I double click that symbol. We'll scroll down. We should find a nice airplane symbol. And the roadway or the railways, we should be able to find a railroad. And for the roadways, maybe use the arterial street. Well, maybe a dark gray symbol might look good with this color. So the railroads are pretty dark, but let's just go with that. And maybe we want to darken this up a little bit more. There we go. So we've completed step number 4 and 5. I'm going to carry on to step number 6. So step number 6, we're working in the housing data frame. So I'm going to minimize the farm. I'm going to right click on housing and select activate. I'm going to scroll over so that I can see the housing data frame. And my instructions ask me to create a map showing the vacancy rate of the counties. So what would you normalize this by? Again, normalizing means I'm getting vacancies per square mile, per square kilometer, normalized per 100 people. You can do a number of different ways, but I think in this case we're probably wanting to do a vacancy rate per square mile. So I'm going to add the counties in, and again we're wanting to label the county's name, so we'll do all that at once. So I'm going to bring in my counties. Drag and drop that over. Go into the properties of the counties. Symbology, we're going to graduated colors again. And this is vacant by square miles. So that's a vacancy density. And maybe we'll use a shade of orange for that. And we're also going to label, turn on the labels. The field that we're going to use is going to be name. So now we've got the counties named. So we've completed exercise number 6 and 7, step 6 and 7 of this exercise. Moving on to number 8, which is working in the physiology frame. So I'm going to minimize the housing and activate the physiology. Pan over to see that one. And step number 8 says add the state boundary and the county boundaries, and then add the World Imagery Service. Use a hollow symbol with contrasting outline colors. So I'm going to add the county boundaries. I don't know, is that the state there? Yeah, so I got the state boundaries and the county boundaries, but notice that I can't see that. I'm going to go ahead and add the world imagery. So I'll go to add data from ArcGIS. I've had some complaints about this step not working, so we'll see how it works for us. But don't be surprised if this step fails due to some online issues. So in the search bar, I'm going to type in world imagery. Alright, so we have imagery here, and I'm going to pick add. Okay, so we got the world imagery, but I need to adjust the symbols. So for my state symbols, maybe I want that to be a hollow with a nice thick white background. I'll put one white, and then for my counties, I'm going to use hollow and maybe bright yellow. So now I can clearly see my counties. So that looks well. So it looks like we got step number 8 taken care of. So I'm going to minimize my and you can use these layout tools here to adjust your page layout. So you want to get comfortable with these. I can see the entire page with the whole page tool here. So step number 9 says examine the legends in the table of contents. Make sure you use good classification schemes, rounded label values, appropriate significant digits and places. Be sure that everything looks like it's capitalized and good. And the final thing is to create a screen capture, but I've asked you to actually export your map to a PDF file, which there's another video on that. One last thing I'd like to ask you to always do is add some text for your name, so you can do insert text. And it's kind of frustrating that it always pops into the center of the map here, but don't let that get you down. Just add your name and then use your select tool to select and move it somewhere where you can see it. And then you can export. We're going to go File, Export Map. Make that a PDF file. Make sure you know where that's going to and save that. And that's what I want you to submit on the exercise. So again, if you have any questions, send me an email. Thanks.